Hello, everyone. Today we are doing lesson 104. I seek what belongs to me in truth, and the correlating chapter text of chapter 10, The Idols of Sickness, section 4, The End of Sickness. Let us begin. Alex?
Chapter 10, The Idols of Sickness, Section 4, The End of Sickness. All magic is an attempt at reconciling the irreconcilable. All religion is the recognition that the irreconcilable cannot be reconciled. Sickness and perfection are irreconcilable. If God created you perfect, you are perfect. If you believe you can be sick, you have placed other gods before him. God is not at war with the god of sickness you made, but you are. He is the symbol of deciding against God, and you are afraid of him because he cannot be reconciled with God's will. If you attack him, you will make him real to you. But if you refuse to worship him in whatever form he may appear to you, and wherever you think you see him, he will disappear into the nothingness out of which he was made. Reality can dawn only on an unclouded mind. It is always there to be accepted, but its acceptance depends on your willingness to have it. To know reality must involve the willingness to judge unreality for what it is. To overlook nothingness is merely to judge it correctly, and because of your ability to evaluate it truly, to let it go. Knowledge cannot dawn on a mind full of illusions, because truth and illusions are irreconcilable. Truth is whole and cannot be known by part of a mind.
Yeah. It's true. As I have accepted the truth about the things that I chose to do and believe, all of the things that I had been taught to believe and to judge, I recognized them as the lies they were. And when I let all that stuff go, reality started dawning on me. That reality is here. And when I let go my judgments of everything, of what I think everything should be or should be for, I find I'm at peace. I'm not conflicted or upset about any of it. One of the things that it's talking about here too in this first paragraph is how when you believe in sickness, you're open to disease and illness. And it's that belief in it that gives it power over you. It makes you fearful. When I was told I had all the diseases I had, I reached a point where I was like, wait a minute, every time I go to the doctor, they're telling me I have another disease. They're wanting to give me another pill. And finally I was like, okay, I'm done here. What's the truth of all of this? Why is this happening? And as I looked within at everything and I let go those beliefs I was holding and those diseases and those sicknesses fell away, I recognized the truth of what he was saying here. That any time that I was believing in illness, I became sick. When I judged, I became sick. And it's only when I let these things go that I healed. When I stopped judging, I healed. And this is why we can't hold on to anything, folks. We have to give it all away and accept what's given. Please continue.
The sonship cannot be perceived as partly sick, because to perceive it that way is not to perceive it at all. The sonship is one. It is one in all respects. Oneness cannot be divided. If you perceive other gods, your mind is split, and you will not be able to limit the split, because it is the sign that you have removed part of your mind from God's will. This means it is out of control. To be out of control is to be out of reason, and then the mind does become unreasonable. By defining the mind wrongly, you perceive it as functioning wrongly. God's laws will keep your mind at peace because peace is His will, and His laws are established to uphold it. His are the laws of freedom, but yours are the laws of bondage. Since freedom and bondage are irreconcilable, their laws cannot be understood together. The laws of God work only for your good, and there are no other laws besides His. Everything else is merely lawless and therefore chaotic. Yet God Himself has protected everything He created by His laws. Everything that is not under them does not exist. Laws of chaos, quote, laws of chaos, is a meaningless term. Creation is perfectly lawful, and the chaotic is without meaning, because it is without God. You have, quote, given your peace to the gods you made, but they are not there to take it from you, and you cannot give it to them.
It's true. Because it's all within your mind. It's your creation. You can't give it away. What's that one line here from the Course? Something about a thing doesn't leave its source? An idea?
Yeah.
Or a thought?
An idea doesn't leave its source.
It's like, you can't perceive your brother as being sick. If you choose to make real what they are choosing to believe in, you fall back into the same thought and belief system that they are trapped in. This is why you have to be willing to stand in your light of truth and speak as you see them truly. Or like I do, share how I have been healed of the things that I was believing to be true about me when I let go of the things I was believing. It isn't until everyone can see the truth that we move forward as a whole here, en masse. And any time that you feel yourself slipping back into that egoic thought system of judgments and anger and vitriol, recognize that you are being unreasonable in those moments. You have insane thoughts going through your mind in those moments. And as it says here, there's no such thing as the laws of chaos. Because anything that's chaotic is meaningless. Everything comes back to how you're choosing to think, believe, and perceive, folks. It all hinges on you. Please continue.
You are not free to give up freedom, but only to deny it. You cannot do what God did not intend, because what he did not intend does not happen. Your gods do not bring chaos. You are endowing them with chaos and accepting it of them. All this has never been. Nothing but the laws of God has ever been, and nothing but his will ever be. You were created through his laws and by his will, and the manner of your creation established you a creator. What you have made is so unworthy of you that you could hardly want it, if you were willing to see it as it is. You will see nothing at all, and your vision will automatically look beyond it to what is in you and all around you. Reality cannot break through the obstructions you interpose, but it will envelop you completely when you let them go. When you have experienced the protection of God, the making of idols becomes inconceivable. There are no strange images in the mind of God, and what is not in his mind cannot be in yours, because you are of one mind, and that mind belongs to him. It is yours because it belongs to him, for to him ownership is sharing. And if it is so for him, it is so for you. His definitions are his laws, for by them he established the universe as what it is. No false gods you attempt to interpose between yourself and your reality affect truth at all. Peace is yours because God created you, and he created nothing else.
Thank you. Yeah. In any given moment, folks, you are accepting or denying. You are accepting or denying God's will for you. You are accepting or denying the chaos you have invented of what you think and believe that everything is for. The choices you have made to believe as you do, to accept the judgments and opinions handed you. And it's you that brings the chaos to them, to those beliefs. You know, here in paragraph 6, where it says, when you have experienced the protection of God, the making of idols becomes inconceivable. I understand completely what that says. Now that I am standing in my light of truth and accepting God's will for me, and accepting the truths he lays before me, I find that all the idols that I used to have are now inconceivable to me. When my brothers suggest that I go chasing after this conference and that conference, or this book and that book, it's inconceivable to me. For me to have any desire to seek out there in the world anymore for what it is I'm getting from my Father. It makes no sense to me why I would want to seek out there anymore. I've let go all belief in everything else out there, and I only seek the truth inside and with him. And that's what I'm sharing with you, is this understanding and the healing that I've been given. Please continue.
The miracle is the act of a Son of God who has laid aside all false gods and calls on his brothers to do likewise. It is an act of faith because it is the recognition that his brother can do it. It is a call of the Holy Spirit in his mind, a call that is strengthened by joining, because the miracle worker has heard God's voice. He strengthens it in a sick brother by weakening his belief in sickness, which he does not share. The power of one mind can shine into another, because all lamps of God were lit by the same spark. It is everywhere, and it is eternal. In many, only the spark remains, for the great rays are obscured. Yet God has kept the spark alive, so that the rays can never be completely forgotten. If you but see the little spark, you will learn of the greater light, for the rays are there unseen. Perceiving the spark will heal, but knowing the light will create. Yet in the returning, the little light must be acknowledged first, for the separation was a descent from magnitude to littleness. But the spark is still as pure as the great light, because it is the remaining call of creation. Put all your faith in it, and God himself will answer you.
Absolutely. You know what it says there in that paragraph about placing faith, that God will answer you when you place your faith in that light within you and you trust. It's true. That's what I've experienced myself. I have placed my faith, trust, and belief, and I've heard his voice speak to me. And I understand when and where I made my choices and decisions, when I blocked my own light from myself and from my brothers. And so I do understand how my brothers have been obscuring the light from themselves. And when I look at my brothers, I see that light within them. I see and understand what it is that is covering that light and hiding that light from them. And like I said, when I come across a brother who believes they're sick, I share with them the truth, as it's been shown to me, about my own healings and how I was healed. About how it was my beliefs that was making me sick, and when I chose to change my mind about those things, I was healed. And that everyone is capable, if they are willing to look within, of healing themselves. All right, folks, that was Chapter 10, The Idols of Sickness, Section 4, The End of Sickness. Let's move on to the lesson of the day. Alex?
Workbook Lesson 104. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They are your right because of what you are. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what he wills. Yet must there be a place made ready to receive his gifts. They are not welcomed gladly by a mind that has instead received the gifts it made where his belong and substitutes for them. Today we would remove all meaningless and self-made gifts which we have placed upon the holy altar where God's gifts belong. His are the gifts that are our own in truth. His are the gifts that we inherited before time was, and that will still be ours when time has passed into eternity. His are the gifts that are within us now, for they are timeless, and we need not wait to have them. They belong to us today.
Absolutely. So the idea here, folks, is that peace, joy, and happiness are your right. They're your God-given right. And if you are not experiencing peace, joy, and happiness, it is because you're holding forth something else in its place, believing something else to be true. And the idea and goal is to try and clear out what is holding the space for God. To clear out all the stuff you've chosen to think and believe. Those are the things that you have chosen to substitute in place of God's will for you. And all of these things are meaningless, self-made gifts that you chose to accept and believe in. And it's up to you to let them go. Please continue.
Therefore, we choose to have them now and know in choosing them in place of what we made. But we unite our will with what God wills and recognize the same as being one. The longer practice periods today, the hourly 5 minutes given truth for your salvation, should begin with this. I seek what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. Then lay aside the conflicts of the world that offer other gifts and other goals made of illusions, witnessed by them, and sought for only in a world of dreams. All this we lay aside and seek instead that which is truly ours, as we ask to recognize what God has given us. We clear a holy place within our minds before His altar, where His gifts of peace and joy are welcome, and to which we come to find what has been given us by Him. We come in confidence today, aware that what brings to us in truth is what He gives, and we would wish for nothing else, for nothing else belongs to us in truth. So do we clear the way for Him today by simply recognizing that His will is done already, and that joy and peace belong to us as His eternal gifts. We will not let ourselves lose sight of them between the times we come to seek for them where He has laid them. This reminder we will bring to mind as often as we can. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want.
Thank you. As I was saying, He's asking you to lay aside all of the crap that you have been taught to think and believe to be true. Everything you've chosen so far to believe in. To set all of it aside and to accept what He sets before you. And when you do, to say to yourself, I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. And as you continue looking at these things and letting them go, you end with, I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. All right, folks. That is lesson 104. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and the correlating chapter text of chapter 10, the idols of sickness, section 4, the end of sickness. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sabrina Reyenga.
And my name is Alex Reyenga.
Hugs, love, light, and blessings on your journeys, my brothers. Please do the work. You're the only one that can do this. Everything hinges on your choice, your decision to believe. It all hinges on you, on what you choose to think and do. Please be the light you are meant to be. Please be the light we know you to be. Please choose to be the light. Hugs, love, light, and blessings. Have a wonderful day.